This is how I'm going to get jacked again. This was me last year. I was in probably the best shape of my entire life, and I was just absolutely killing it. And then worst that could possibly happen happened, and I found out that I actually had an umbilical hernia. Now, it actually went back a little bit further than that, even all the way back, I think, to 2021, where I had some symptoms of a hernia, but it was so tiny that I didn't really notice it, and I honestly didn't know what a hernia was, and I actually thought that maybe I was too young for that, so it never really was a possibility that crossed my mind. But after leaving it for so many years, it then did become very obvious, and I started calling it Herbie the hernia because it would poke out of my shirts, and it was very obvious, and it was getting kind of embarrassing, and it would actually kind of hurt a little bit. When I'd eaten a big meal and things like that, it would put a lot of strain on that area, and I knew that it was going to be a problem. So I actually sought some treatment for it, and the doctors confirmed that I did have a hernia. So unfortunately, I had to get some surgery to fix that. It was not at a point where they could fix it without surgery. So I then was worried. Then that really just annoyed me because I was in really good shape and I didn't want to stop training. And it's just one of those things, right? I had to get it sorted and book the surgery. And you know what? I was able to get surgery pretty quickly, and it went very well. But I severely underestimated how hard the surgery would be. I'd never actually had any major surgery before. Not major surgery, but maybe minor surgery. But I'd never even been put to sleep before with general anaesthetic. That was actually what I was most worried about, the drug side of it, the anaesthetic side of it. But that wasn't actually too bad. But because of the fact that when they did the incision around the belly button, it had to be a fairly big incision as well, and I've got a scar from it. Hopefully it'll fade. It's not too bad of a scar. But when they did the incision, it was quite deep. And because of where it is in the abs, you literally cannot do anything. Like anything. I was like, it was just completely out of action for a good while. They said it wouldn't be that long, but actually for me, it was a lot longer. For about 2 weeks, I was pretty much bedbound. Couldn't really do anything. I had to get my family to look after me. But other than that, after that, I then was able to look after myself from that point, but I still couldn't train. The doctors said that I had to have a certain amount of time off. And I think for me, it was 14 weeks. Okay, I think it was something like that. I can't remember exactly now, but it was a long enough time where I just got completely out of shape. I had to have the time off, and for some reason, I just decided that I was going to completely forget about fitness for that time. I think I was a little bit depressed, not depressed majorly, but just a little bit down about the fact that I couldn't work out because I've been working out my whole life. So when that part of your routine goes away, your life really changes quite a bit. But in reality, there was no reason I couldn't have stuck to a diet during that time. And within not very long, I could get my steps in, right? So there was no reason to not do something. But probably many of you can relate to, I'm kind of an all or nothing person. So, which it was not a good thing, by the way, but it's just a part of me that I just want to do things to the extreme. I want to do things really well if I'm going to get involved in them. And I don't know, it just kind of turned me off the idea of doing anything while I was recovering. And then it got to a time when I could go back to the gym, but I was so out of the routine that I was just being so lethargic about getting back into the gym. It's like I'd forgotten about my passion in life. And it also coincided with a big trip that me and my mates were doing. It was a 3-week trip around Asia. So I was seeing some friends out in Korea, and we went to the Philippines. It was an amazing trip, but I knew it was just going to be heavy drinking, eating absolute crap. The food was really nice, but it wasn't good for you. And so I just knew that's what it was going to be like, so I didn't really try anything there. Then I was back for a week, and then week after that, I was at my friend's stag do, and that was obviously a big alcoholic mess as well. Fun as it was absolutely incredible. Both trips, absolutely incredible, but just those things were getting in the way, and it was just allowing me to put it off a little bit more. It was allowing me to just leave it longer without sorting my life out, basically. And it ended up being a total of 6 months off, which is way longer than it needed to be, but it's just the reality of life sometimes. And I'm just going to accept that that's what I did, and I need to just get back in and get back to where I was, because I am fully locked in now. I don't think I've ever been this locked in ever. Mainly because I've been in such good shape and I'm not now, and I know what I can do. I think that is what makes it even more like I want to get back to it and even get beyond where I was before as well. So that's the plan now, is get back to where I was and beyond, right? But it's not going to be quick. So I have already started, and you might have seen some of my videos already. Not a lot of people have, but you might have. And I have made a lot of progress already. I actually started properly getting back into it in terms of just the diet and moving my body a little bit. It was about start of November, and I've already lost quite a bit of weight. I started at 15 stone when I got back, which is horrific for a 5'9" guy. Definitely obese. I don't care that I've got a fair bit of muscle. It literally is obese. And I felt absolutely awful about that. I felt ugly. None of my clothes fit me. My whole wardrobe doesn't fit me. I had to buy new clothes. It's crazy. But I've already lost about just over a stone. So my latest weighing so far has been 13 stone 8, which is another 6 pounds. So almost a stone and a half actually since the start of November. And it's only 15th of December. So a lot in a very short time. And more recently, during that, I'd say probably about the past 3 or 4 weeks, no, maybe 3 weeks, I've been back at the gym as well. I didn't go straight back to the gym because, to be honest, it wasn't the biggest problem losing the muscle. It wasn't my biggest priority getting the muscle back. I needed to shift the obscene amount of fat that I had on my body, and I just wanted to focus all of my time on that. I think, yes, the muscle matters, but if you're covered with that much fat, it's better to just spend your time on getting rid of the fat. And if I'm honest, I could have done both, but it would have been at a slower pace, and I just wanted to get rid of it. I wanted that off my body, and oh my God, I feel so much better. But around the time I hit 14 stone, so went from 15 to 14, that's when I started getting back into the gym. And wow, it really shows that I've had 6 months off. I am way weaker than I used to be, but it is coming back extremely fast. I'm moving up in weight pretty much every time I go to the gym. And I'm really happy about that. So hopefully things will go really quickly. And within 2 to 3 months, I see myself not quite being back where I was, but at least 80% there, or maybe even higher, 85, 90% there. And then from there, in the months going forward after that, I can probably get back up to where I was before. And that's just based off the current progress. Now, I know progress will slow down during that time, but let's just hope that I get there in a reasonable time. I think I'm confident. I've done this a few times. I've had time off before, not as long as this, but I've always managed to get back pretty quickly. I think I'm pretty decent at holding on to muscle as well. I think the strength goes, but the muscle kind of remains a little bit. And because of the fact that I am more of a person that struggles to be lean rather than someone that struggles to put on weight, I get less muscle loss when I have time off. If that makes sense, right? I think because obviously I was eating a massive calorie surplus, there's less reason to lose muscle, right? So hopefully that is going to play into it, which I think it already is because I'm getting a lot better very quickly. Putting on a lot of muscle very quickly. My lifts are going up crazy amounts and crazy pace. And you know what? I'm really enjoying it. Just going to the gym every morning before work it sets you up for the rest of the day. So I'm buzzing about that. And I'm buzzing about getting better as well. So what is the plan? What am I actually doing? So for that first month, I was aiming for at least 20,000 steps a day. Now, that sounds like a lot, and I'll be honest with you, it is a lot, and it's kind of obscene, and if you haven't got time for that, I totally understand. Why was I choosing steps? Well, if you're 15 stone, running's not good for you, and that might be controversial. It's definitely not good for me. I think people that use running as a tool to lose weight when they're obese or heavily overweight, if they have not the best joints, it's a terrible idea. Now, I know, because I used to be a runner. I used to be quite good. I used to run for a local club, and I was very good. You could do a sub 20-minute 5K, so I know a bit about running. And even then, in the time that I was a runner, I was a little bit heavier at times. I would fluctuate, and I noticed when I was heavier, it was harder on my joints. I'd get shin splints, it would hurt my knees, your bones would hurt more. The eccentric load on your muscles is more. So it's just not good. I do want to get back into running when I'm a bit lighter. So going from 15 to 14, it was purely walking. Well, as exercise. Then from the diet standpoint, no more than 2,000 calories and try to get under that when I can, right? The reason I'm doing that is that will provide, I'd say I'm estimating between 1,000 and 1,250 calorie deficit. In fact, it's been more than that because you can understand how much weight I've lost. It must have been a bigger deficit than that. And yes, it is quite a brutal deficit. At first, I was very hungry and it was difficult to follow. But as the weeks went on, it got normal. My stomach got used to eating that amount of food. And I just kind of got into the routine of it, to be honest. Pulled my socks up and just got on with it. That is just what you've got to do. There are things that make it easier, but it does, at the end of the day, come down to how much you're willing to try. So what have I been doing to make it easier? So basically high protein to keep me satiated and high volume as well. So every time I have my dinner, I have this like big, huge plates, different meals, sometimes eat the same meals, but they all have similar attributes, which is lots and lots of volume, lots and lots of protein, not a lot of calories. And the key thing I've been controlling is carbs. So I'm not one of these low carb people or no carb people. Can't do that. I think it's ridiculous. But most people eat too many carbs, and that's probably where a lot of the calories come from. So just controlling the amount of carbs with the meals is doing really good. And in terms of the gym, so what I started doing the past 2 or 3 weeks is a basic push-pull legs split. And we do that 2 times a week. So 3 days, rest 3 days to fit that in a week. Now, at first, when I first got back, it was difficult to recover. I did the first session, it absolutely killed me. And then I realized I have to go even easier than I thought I did with when I did back and legs, especially for legs, because the fact that I'm doing all these steps, I want to be able to do that, right? So I don't want to mess my legs up too much that I can't do my cardio. So I went very easy on that. And so it was only really when I did chest that I actually managed to hurt it quite a lot. And so I just had a few days off to sort that out. But after that, it was kind of smooth sailing, and I've just gone up since then. So it's just push-pull legs, and it's not much, right? These sessions are no more than 40 minutes at this point, because I'm only having a minute rest between sets, because the weight I'm doing is quite easy and I'm not actually trying that hard. If I'm trying really hard, I might go up to like 3 minutes rest. But this is when I was at my peak, right? I don't need to be resting 3 minutes for the weights I'm lifting. But I am now getting to the point where I'm pushing things quite hard now. So that not crazy hard, but training till a bit closer to failure than I was, and eventually it will be failure. On some exercises it is failure, especially things like incline bench press. It's kind of easy to go to failure on that, and come on, who doesn't love that, right? Everyone's going to enjoy that a bit, and I've just been enjoying it, and that's kind of the method so far. So it's really like 4 exercises for the big muscle groups, and then 1 exercise for biceps on back and bis day, and 1 exercise for triceps on chest day. Legs starting to increase the weight a little bit now. Still pathetic, right? But it's getting there, and it's starting to actually feel like I'm doing more during the training. So that's my plan. I really want to inspire people with this. I've let things go because of a legit reason, but actually it's gone on for a little bit longer, and I didn't actually need to let it go that bad. But it's not the end of the world. I am going to get back to super ripped, super jacked again, naturally, of course. So I want to show how it's possible, and I want to inspire people to do the same. And even if you've never been in shape, right, this could inspire you and could give you an idea about how to actually get in shape. But specifically for those people that have been in really good shape before, there is no excuse. You can do it with me. Let's do it together, right? I want to hear about what you guys are doing. Please tell me. Put in the comments, subscribe if you want to see more of this. I will be posting lots of updates. I do shorts, Instagram reels, all that kind of thing. So there'll be plenty more updates from me, and you can just follow my whole journey. I'm also a big guy into the fitness scene. I love watching content from all the biggest creators. So whenever there's something to react about, I'll be reacting to that. I have already done some of that as well. So if you want to see some of my other videos, click one of these, and I will speak to you next time. See you in a bit.